We have Lucas LaFay from LBS Demo. We promised people that we would bring him on. We're going to hold off on phone calls for a little while unless it specifically has something to do with demolition.
Yeah.
But Lucas, do us a favor and tell us about your company for a few minutes, please.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. We're a family business. We were started a little over a decade ago. We've been handling demolition needs in Southeast Michigan for quite some time now. So everything from decks and sheds and pools to interior strip outs and chimneys, even all the way up to oil tanks and asbestos abatement and commercial building demos. So pretty much anything and everything that involves taking something down safely and removing it.
And then properly disposing of it.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
Yes, 100%. Much better than trying to take care of moving a whole dumpster's worth of stuff yourself.
Okay. A lot of people don't understand what is involved in strategic deconstruction. I know demolition is a popular
Safely.
word. But really, you are strategic with everything you do. I mean, you're making sure that people are not getting hurt, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, safety isn't one of our number one things. My mom's actually, again, family company. She has pretty much any and every OSHA certification that you can have, which is great for us to have on our side. So we take very great pride in not having, knock on wood, not having to use our insurance since we've started business.
How long has that been now?
A little over 11 years now.
Wow. No insurance whatsoever. Now, when you start, you'll take away anything, right? I mean, if it's back there, someone needs to haul it away, you'll take care of it.
Oh, yeah, anything and everything, even hazardous materials like asbestos or when we're removing an oil tank for a home heating oil, all of that needs to be properly manifested and documented for homeowners.
How many of the things that you remove do you have to get other entities involved when you're removing the oil tank? In other words, do you have to get the city involved with stuff like that?
Really kind of case by case. Some cities have specific ordinance with hazardous materials, but more or less taking everything to a Class 2 landfill and, again, getting that manifest, that documentation that everything was removed the way it was supposed to be, and not only that, but it was actually taken to a facility meant for that kind of material.
Interesting, like refrigerators and stuff like that as well. Are there still major issues trying to get rid of those things?
Yeah, with older ones, if you really want to be environmentally conscious, you don't want those refrigerants getting up into the atmosphere. So, of course, getting those taken care of as well. Pretty much anything harmful, making sure that it's not just going into a landfill, it's actually properly being disposed of.
So what kind of projects have you worked on lately? Tell our listeners what kind of projects you've done over the last few weeks.
Oh, of course. Well, speaking of oil tanks, just a couple of weeks ago, we had a 1,000-gallon in-ground oil tank, and it was about 3/4 of the way full. So you can imagine we had probably about 5,000 pounds of just fuel being pumped out.
Can you collect that? Can that be reused?
Yeah, absolutely. So if it's a good quality fuel, then it can go to someone who has a heating oil burner that has a 3-stage filter, and it's actually not just being straight burned. Now, there is a lot of, if it's been sitting and it's stagnant for a long time, then you have to take those again to a Class 2 landfill, make sure all of that is properly disposed of, and then they have their process for recycling that material so it, again, doesn't get introduced into the environment in a harmful way.
That is that's dangerous work, taking that stuff out. I know someone years ago who actually one of those blew up on them. Do you have to cut those normally? And if you do, how do you do that without creating a spark?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. I mean, first and foremost, you have to have fire watch. Secondly, you can't use anything like a grind or anything that's going to make sparks. You pretty much have to dig all the way around it, and then we'll use a Sawzall blade, and that with a big fat carbide teeth. I mean, these blades are pretty robust. They don't create sparks, and that's what you have to do to be able to open a hole up in the top in order to get your pump in there, because a lot of the time, you can't see all of the oil that's in the tank if you just go down the standpipe, and 2, you don't know if you're truly all the way to the bottom of it pumping everything out. So you have to have a visual to confirm that you actually pulled it all out as well.
Wow. Home heating oil. I'm really glad that's kind of on the way out. So people who are there, like I said, right now, that have a shed, they have a deck. Maybe how many old barns do we see absolutely falling apart as we're driving around Southeast Michigan?
Oh, I mean, plenty. I mean, I had two requests for pretty large projects just like that. One is an old farm-style barn, another one's a 20 by 30, just dilapidated, falling apart. And, of course, we get calls on newer ones that maybe not necessarily falling apart, but it's time to upgrade and get something new.
Yeah, actually, stick around for more with LBS Demolition right here on the Inside Outside, guys.
Welcome back, everybody. Appreciate you being with us. We've got Lucas Lefebvre from LBS Demolition with us, and I'm kind of curious, Ken, with all the preemptory things that you were talking about in the prior segment. Lucas, how does all that stuff apply on a job site? Tell us about something you're involved with right now.
Sure, absolutely. Right now, we are on a commercial project. We've got a couple of residential projects we're on too, but I really want to hone in on that commercial one. We're taking out ceilings all the way to the deck, 2x6 steel stud walls. We're taking out rooms that have self-leveling floors for an automotive parts tester.
Oh, yeah.
They're very sensitive. They're up to like a 1,000th of an inch in accuracy, so we obviously have to protect those floors. We can't be driving on them. We can't be, dropping stuff on them. We're also, keep in mind, surrounded by millions of dollars of equipment. And I mean, all within 10, 15 feet of our work area. So if you have people in there, you're using machinery, you're up high in a scissor lift. I mean, there's a lot of safety that's involved with that. And a lot that goes into that, like we were talking about with oil tanks too. Every project has unique needs.
And it's very deliberate, though, right? You're not going in and doing the sledgehammer thing like they show on HGTV all the time.
Oh, exactly. As much as I would love to just come in there and tear and smash with an excavator, what we do, it's more deconstruction than it really is demolition. I mean, you're not just smash everything with a hammer. A lot of times, you're just unscrewing 1,000 screws. I mean, that's just what goes into the project a lot of the times.
Yeah. And it makes a difference in terms of maintaining the health and safety of your people as well as other people that may be working or living there, right?
100%, exactly. I mean, we want to get the job done and we want to provide good results, but at the same time, you have to be safe throughout that entire process.
We have a lot of listeners, Lucas, that like to DIY, whether it's a basement remodel, whether they're doing the kitchen. But one thing they don't have is a way to demo and get rid of the cabinets, the countertops, whatever may be in the basement. That's your specialty. That's your sweet spot, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, being a DIYer, that's absolutely amazing. Sometimes you got to pick and choose your battles a little bit, though, especially if you're in a house. It's an older house. It's got plastered. It's got multiple layers of floor, ceiling, walls. All of that just adds to the project and adds to your needs. And I mean, you guys can verify this, of course, for yourself as contractors with decades of experience behind you. Would you rather come into a home and you already know it's going to be a full strip out and you're going to be redoing a project? Would you rather come into a bathroom that has everything in it, or something that's already, the bones are exposed, you can see it, you know exactly what you're dealing with, you don't have any surprises in the wall like some vent pipe that you weren't expecting? I mean, please tell me that. Would that be preferable to you?
Oh, absolutely. It's funny you say that because Ken and I were talking in the opening segment about us at our house this week ripping the decking off a deck frame. And it was a lot of work. Each nail had to be popped up and pulled out and properly and safely disposed of. Each screw extracted, and some of them easier than others, right? And when it was finally done, everything's cleaned up. And it was a lot of work. I looked at my son and I said, all the hard work is done. Now it's fun moving forward. So we agree with you 1,000%.
Oh, exactly. And, I love hearing about your guys' projects that you actually have going on, too. And, we get to hash out that, that a little bit. And some, again, specific to what you're referencing, I mean, how many decks as a homeowner are you going to be removing yourself? I mean, I can't tell you. We have tools that are specifically made for removing deck boards. I mean, you're not just using a pry bar and a hammer.
And having the right tools.
Exactly. And I mean, do you really want to go out and buy all of those tools for that specific job, and now you're storing them, and who knows when you're going to be using them next?
Yeah.
Or would you rather just not have to deal with that, get a clean slate, and now you can actually paint your portrait?
Yeah, and using the muscles that you have not used for 20 years, maybe in your lifetime, to do that kind of work is huge, and people probably get hurt, and they may not even know it until 3 months later.
Right. I mean, and it can be something just as silly and goofy as not having puncture-proof foot protection, and you step on a nail, and all of a sudden you haven't gotten your tetanus shot in a decade because time got away from you, and now you start to feel that. I mean, it could be something just as goofy as that, or hitting a utility and causing some outage, whether it be water or power. I mean, there's so many factors that go into every project.
One of the factors is proper insurance. Okay, because
Good point.
Nowadays you go online or you go on social media. I saw something yesterday on social media on a contractor's page. Someone asking who wants to come hang paper on my house.
Wallpaper?
No, on the outside. I'm sorry, a vapor barrier on my house.
Oh, gotcha.
And all these guys are answering, and I just wanted to say, Are you crazy to the person? I didn't say a word, but she's letting strangers on her property to work on a home that she knows needs the work, so it's a dangerous work environment. And I guarantee you, none of them are even 1% insured.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, that's a huge thing too, because do you want to accept that liability at your house? It's like having a pool or a trampoline with no insurance. I mean, it's an accident waiting to happen, truly. Yeah. And I mean, the best way to vet that is to just look at a company, look how long they've been around, look at what other people are saying, and don't just look on one platform. I mean, if they have a Facebook, look on Facebook. If they've got Google, go on there. If they're Better Business Bureau accredited, look there. I mean, anywhere that they have ratings, see what people are saying honestly, and see how consistent their ratings are across various platforms.
How do people find you? How do people find LBS besides the InsideOutsideGuys.com, of course?
Oh, exactly. That's a big one. You can find us. Our website is lbsdemo.com, and you can also reach us at 313-701-2828. And we like to get on it right away, get you a quote for your projects, whether it be a deck, a shed, a pool, kitchen remodel, a bathroom remodel, even if you're pulling a chimney out or you're tearing down a whole darn garage, we got you.
What about concrete? Just plain old concrete. Will you come and take that and then possibly bring me some fill to replace it?
Absolutely, yeah. We can take care of both of those things. Pulling your concrete out, taking it away and removing it, and coming back and you want some 22 AA, we got you. No problem.
So does LBS Demolition subcontract to other larger contractors that might want things like Ken just mentioned?
Yes, absolutely. The commercial project we're on right now, we're working under a general contractor, and it's been amazing. We're very, very lucky to have good connections that are enjoyable to work with, honest and ethical.
I respect that you say that, but if Ken was a general, I was a general, having a company that I can trust like LBS is huge for me. If I know I can call you and you will safely and properly do that work, that is tremendous. We appreciate you, Lucas.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, I appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, our whole job is to just take things off of people's plates. I mean, especially if you're a contractor, even if you're, whether you're general doing, whole house build or you're just exclusively remodels, we take a lot of that work off of your plate. And then again, like we were talking about inside, we strip it down. You can see the bones. You don't have any surprises. I mean, what's in the walls, it doesn't lie. It shows you exactly what it is.
Lucas Lefebvre, LBS Demolition. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.